Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome to another episode of the Trevor Ohlsen Show, episode number 8 on Wednesday, October 14th. I am your host, Trevor Ohlsen. How's everybody doing? Are you moving forward in life, or have you come to an abrupt halt? I am continuing my hardest to move forward. That's right. With a hard penis, I continue to move forward. Big news, guys. Big news, not the penis. Very exciting news here at the Ohlsen residence. We've got things happening. All right, a lot of things in life have come to a halt, but not here, baby. No sirree. So I know I've been telling you guys about the Wi-Fi situation here. Now, a lot of you think having fast Wi-Fi, who cares? Yeah. We've never had it. I'm 25. It's never been here where we live. It's never been fast. It's never been good. I have driven into town, without exaggeration, hundreds of times. Bird just hit the window. Hundreds of times to upload videos, to upload content, to post these podcasts, to do everything that I've ever done entertainment-wise regarding social media. I have driven into town. I have bothered my sisters. I've walked in on them banging on the couch with, not both my sisters. That'd be uncomfortable. And, I don't think that's ever happened. I waltz in. I text my sister every other day. I was like, hey, can you mind if I pop by to use the Wi-Fi? And she's like, oh my God, just fuck off, would you? That is no longer the case, folks. It is not the case any longer. Praise God. And I honestly can't tell you how thrilled I am. It almost seems too good to be true. I didn't know I could be this excited about Wi-Fi. But I've been telling you that I was going to go up with my dad. We were going to install the new system, the NMU Wi-Fi thing they've got going on. And, excuse me. And, I had to record. I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I got to record my podcast. And he's like, don't ever talk to me like that. You don't speak to me like that. And I said, but Dad. And he then, no, Donnie, bam, smacked me. And I said, Dad, why don't you just love me? So I was like, hey, I got to record my podcast. It was Sunday, so it was the bonus Patreon episode. And I went to my sister's and uploading the video version, even on fast Wi-Fi at my sister's place, it took like an hour. So, and he was just getting started on the roof. And so by the time I got back, I mean, he had done everything. He did everything. He was tarring the roof, fixing it up a bit. He had dismantled the entire old antenna that was no longer in use. He had hooked up the new system, everything. And so he just needed help propping it up. So I lended him my propping up skills. He couldn't have done it without me. Let's be honest, Dad, I did the most important part of the job. The only other thing I really did was I went into the crawl space, which I've never been in. And I was like, why aren't we utilizing this space? It's huge. It's like, there's a dirt floor. It's like, our basement is full of shit. Bunch of shit. I've talked with my parents. I'm like, why don't we just light it all on fire? I can't, and my parents have, it's impossible for them to throw anything away. I think they could eventually end up on that show Hoarders. That's always a good, fun one, filled with a bunch of winners. But I love this piece of garbage. Don't throw it away, please. I'll do anything. No. Not the dusty teacup that's been tucked in the back that I haven't used in 12 years. No. It's like, let it go. You have a psychological problem. But, so, I was just telling, like, well, can we just get rid of all this stuff? We're not utilizing the space efficiently, and it's gotten to the point where we're not utilizing it at all. It's just, that's where we just put shit now. And I'm the type of person where if I'm gonna clean things out, I just throw it away. You should give it away and donate. I don't have the time. No, I have the time, and I hate that excuse, and I never use that excuse. I just choose not to donate clothes to children who need them. I think those clothes should pull their own weight. those clothes. I think those kids should pull their own weight around here. All right? They should be knitting those clothes with their bare little fingers. All right? That's what I did. I turned out okay. So, I'm the type of person that says, just throw it away. Throw it away. Give whatever away, go to Goodwill, St. Vinny's, all that stuff. I'm all for it. All right, I am. I just choose not to do the right thing. Like recycling. I don't do that either. I throw everything in the garbage and it ends up in some landfill in the ocean. It adds to the crisis, what's it called? Not global warming. What is it everyone concerned of? Weather change? Why can't I think of the term? Hold on, let me check my fast internet here. Global environmental issues. Climate change, that's what I'm thinking of. I couldn't, it was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, so let's be honest, folks. Climate change is a hoax. All right? We've got fake climate change and all this fuss over a fake virus. Oh, it's not real. Come on, where's the bodies? I'm not seeing anyone. Just kidding. Where was I going with any of that? I don't know. Oh yeah, so I just throw shit away and add to the detriment of the climate. And I'm proud of my decision. I stand behind my decision as a man, and my conscience is clean, folks. You're not gonna change my mind. No, I'm all for all recycling. I'm all for all that stuff, but I don't know. I just fucking don't really think of it. So I'm like, let's just clear out this basement, and it's never gonna happen because they can't throw shit away. We have a drawer upstairs on our island that is filled with nonsense. It's filled with 800 pencils that don't work. It's filled with calculators that have no battery life to them. And no one needs a calculator anymore. We have everyone has a phone. All right? Everyone has an iPhone. All right? My 6-month-old niece is bound to get hers soon. Everyone and there's not, people don't even have to critically think anymore. I was talking with a teacher once. And I asked her, I said, have you noticed a change? This was a former teacher of mine. From many years ago. And I asked her, I said, have you noticed a change in your students' behavior, with the introduction of social media and the iPhone in particular? And she was like, oh yeah. She said, there's no critical thinking. Everyone's hyper distracted. No, I mean, everyone Googles everything. There's no thought process behind it. They're just fucking sucked in on TikTok, and that's it. That's it. That's the future. TikTokers, think of that. These 17-year-old trillionaire TikTokers are going to be running the country soon. I vote the D'Amelio sisters for president 2020. Scrap I think it's 35 years of minimum age to become president. Scrap that. We want a 17-year-old female. Now, I'm sorry, folks. She's white. I know people don't like white people right now. I'm a white male. I can't. I'm very against white people. I wish I were a different race. I wish I was all the races. People hate white people right now. It's really something. It's like Louis C.K. said, he has this great bit, and he was like, you could go back 2,000 years, and if you're white, like, doesn't matter where you are, there's gonna be someone there with saying, oh, right this way, sir, have a seat. And then he's like, but I don't want to go into the future as a white person. He's like, because we're going to be paying for this shit. It's like, I didn't do anything. I'm sorry my race did, I guess. I don't know. People just don't like white people right now, particularly white men. Now I'm the oppressed. No, I mean, I don't feel, I don't know. I think it's I think we're on a slippery slope. I think there's there's probably gonna be a race war. We know this. We feel it in the air, folks. I wonder what a war would be like, though. There was a comedian, though, who said it's like there's not gonna be a civil war in America. It's like Americans are too fat for a civil war. Which is pretty true. I mean, there's a large number of obese people in America. It's kind of a bummer that the narrative of America is we're all stupid and fat. That's like Bill Burr. He said he went over to UK when he shot his special. I think it's called Paper Tiger. Yeah, great special, excellent. He's one of the best. And he was like, "Hey, you guys are pretty fat over here too." It's like there's fat people everywhere. That's actually a statistic. More people die from obesity now in the world than people do from starvation. And honestly, that's an achievement. Let's be real. There is hardly any privation in comparison to all the past history of humanity. I mean, is there struggle? Yes. Let's not take away from that. We know that there's struggle, especially in these third world countries where, it's like, hey, just you're living in the desert. Obviously, you don't have food. Yeah. Feed the children. That's like the Sam Kinison bit. It's like, feed the children. It's like, well, come to where the food is. All right? You're living in the middle of nowhere. There's no Walmart. All right? There's no refrigeration. Why are you living here? Move to where the food is. Anyhow. I don't know. I just get on these little rants and I totally lose sight of where I'm going. Yes, white men. People don't like white men right now. And that's all right. As a white man, I'm okay with it. And it's like, how can you really insult a white person? Yeah, cracker. Okay, I'm just stealing bits from all these comedians today. That's a that's a Louis C.K. bit too. Oh my God. Comedians, I love comedians because they say things you're not supposed to say. And they're jokes. And if people can't joke anymore about anything ever, I just that's not right. We should be able to joke about every race, about every idea and topic. And it should obviously, as the professional comedians, they'll do their best to tighten it all up, but I just think it'd be a shame if we can't joke about any topic. Yeah. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. So, long story short, folks, we're getting Wi-Fi. I think that's where all this started. No, we're not getting Wi-Fi. We have the Wi-Fi. After this podcast is finished up, I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to click the upload button, and it's going to upload. Like, we're streaming movies off Amazon Prime. We're probably gonna get Netflix. Like it's like a miracle, and it truly feels too good to be true. Like we've never had Wi-Fi. I've told this. I've said this before. I have come close to destroying my laptop, my brand new MacBook Pro, because of the stupid MiFi that isn't working, and I am gonna smash it with probably a baseball bat and a hammer at this point now. I've shut it off. It's just sitting there waiting for me to destroy it. But it's great. So I wanted to share that with you guys because that's very exciting. Also, your boy Trevor got lucky last night, folks. That's right. Got some pussy. No. I went hunting, and you have to remember I wasn't out at all last year because I was on the road in October, so I missed all of the fall basically last year. And so I've really been taking advantage of the day here. I've really been taking advantage of fall, and I've been getting out as often as I can to go hunting. I've gotten out a handful of times already. And I got lucky last night, and I got my first partridge, rough grouse, whatever you want to call it, in a couple of years, and it was so fun. And I hunt it in a different manner than I normally do. So I go out to my grandfather's land, my uncle's land, my whole family. We live on like the same street, like uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews. We got them all, folks. We're like an Italian family. You can't say that. That's racist. Go fuck yourself. So I went out to my uncle's property, grandpa's property, cousin's property. Everyone lives out there. And I had just got back from the gym. I did a nice 3-mile run. I did it, by the way, in just over 25 minutes, which was a really good time for me. And I would consider myself a runner now at this point. I love it. I almost want to run every day. And the only reason I don't is just joint health is kind of a concern, thinking down the road. And I want to build more muscle and put on a bit more size. So running a lot could, if I'm running at a fast pace, it's going to start to burn off a little muscle. Typically I run not too fast, although I am running faster now. So I try to just utilize my fat stores instead of burning off muscle. But anyway, besides the point. So I went out after running, and there was 50, no. How long was it? There was like half an hour of sunlight left because I got out there at 5:30 and 5:35 is when my feet hit the dirt, and sunset was at 6:08. I checked. And so I was like, okay, this is typically, if you kind of blast through the property, you can do it in 45 minutes. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to have to move at a pretty fast pace. I'm typically a bit more slower. I keep my eye out, a bit more cautious, and just, it's slower paced. And usually, maybe I'll do it in an hour and a half instead of 45 minutes. So I'm blasting through. I'm about halfway through, and it's super thick. Ever since my grandpa passed away a few years ago, he used to ride his 4-wheeler out there, and now there's no one riding the 4-wheeler. And so a lot of these trails, like the forest is just taking back over. And I feel like I should go out there and like cut all the brush away, because it's like I can't fucking walk, let alone shoot a bird. So I'm out walking. I'm in the bush. I'm in the thick of it, in the bush, and this partridge flushes right by my head. Maybe 4 feet away, and it was right level with my head. It was up in this big bush, and I like a big bush. No, I don't. Bushes are out, folks. And it flew off. And I saw I could see the direction where it went. Obviously, you can hear it. They take off like a helicopter. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna move up. I'm gonna keep going in the direction that I'm going, but I'm gonna circle back, because typically I see birds in this area. So I go up, I start to circle back, and I get off trail, and I go into a very thick section, and I'm going, and I flush another one, so a different one. And I see the direction that it goes, and now I know that there's at least a couple both in the same direction. So typically, it's so thick that when I see them flush and I don't get a chance at them, I kind of just like, well, I missed my shot. I didn't have the chance. But your old boy got a bit aggressive. Yeah, I hunted very aggressively in comparison to how I normally do. And so as soon as I saw it take off in the direction that it flew, I had to go climb up a little hill. So I climbed up the hill really quick. And then I started, basically very quickly, almost like a jog in that direction, gun on my shoulder at the ready. And I was fortunate enough to, there's a very thick section, and then there was a good trail I was able to get on. And it was open to my right and thick to my left. So I had, a big open section to run in as I'm running down this trail. And I'm just running. I'm like hyper alert. I'm on edge, just really, really trying to see, because you have to spot them before they spot you, or you have to spot them. They'll probably spot you before you spot them. But if you can spot them before they fly, that's your best shot, because they're so fast. They're so quick if they start running, and if they start flying and it's super thick, it's like you're not going to get a shot off at them. You can get a shot at them if you're in an open field, definitely, but this is not an open field. Very thick bush. So I'm running down this trail, guns shouldered, keeping my eye out, hyper alert, and I got lucky and I saw it, and it was standing there. It was a big one. It was a big partridge, and I got a great shot at it, headshot, and dropped right there, and it was awesome. It was so fun. I had never hunted that aggressively, and I've been starting to implement that a bit more. If one flushes, just really kind of plow through the thick of it and try to catch up with them and spot them again. Because I've been doing that now a couple times, and I've been able to, if I just kind of charge in that direction, so to speak, I typically can find them again. And for some reason, I always feel like they're a bit more hesitant to flush the second time, maybe because they know you're coming. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I always feel like they're on the ground and they might run the second time instead of fly. But I got lucky, and I saw it and I got it, and it was awesome. It was super fun. It was a very quick hunt, 50 minutes, and it was over, and it was dark. At that point, I had to. I went back. I tried to get the other one, that had flushed too, but I never heard it or saw it again. But I made my way around the whole field, which is what I typically do around the property, and cut back to my uncle's where I had parked, and got home, gutted it. Actually, I saved the tail because it was a big bird. Even my dad said it was a big breast for a partridge, and it was probably the biggest one I've ever got. And I just realized something. I just realized that I always take the heart as well. It's a tiny little heart, but I just realized I don't remember eating that last night, and I wonder if it got cooked. I don't know. But so I was gutting it, and which is super easy. It's quick, but I cut the tail off because I wanted to save it and spread it, and put it up at our camp or something like that. And when I did that, the typical way that I gut it didn't work. So I ended, long story short, it was a bit more messy than I intended, but a successful, safe hunt. And it was super fun, and it was great to get outside. And I just had a blast. As far as I've just really been making an effort to live my life and use my time wisely. It's like, I was busy all morning working, and then I worked on my music for quite a few hours. Made a lot of progress on the music, on the album. I mean, it's getting so close. I'm just in the final stages of touching things up, and I think some of the songs are done. Like, done completely. They'll just have to be mastered by my friend. But made a lot of progress with that, and then I went on a 3-mile run, and it's like as soon as I got home, I went, I just threw on some gear and I went hunting, and just gotta live our lives, folks. You know it. It's like life is fast. Life is short. And so it was just a blast. And if any of you guys can get out in Mother Nature, I would highly recommend it. It's good. It's just good for the soul. It's so good. You get away from all the shit. Take your, I have my phone with me in case of an emergency. That's my means of looking at it, or my means of bringing it with, rather. But obviously I'm not looking at it, and it's just so nice to just shut off the world. We need a healthy dose of detachment from, we're just being completely inundated with information all the time. And I think it's just, we can't handle it. It's fucking with all of our mental health. As far as I can tell, it's fucked with mine. Watch The Social Dilemma. I talked about that. And I think everyone's aware of this already. Everyone's already aware that too much social media, it's just not good. You just feel like a site, you just feel like worthless after. It's not good, folks. It's not good. And it's hilarious I think this is quite funny. How you can go to Instagram and there could be someone with like 8 followers and they label themselves a public figure. You've done nothing. Like, you can't just label yourself a public figure. That's like everyone being like called geniuses. I hate that. Like, oh, he's a genius. He's a genius. I've had people tell me that you're a musical genius. No, I'm not. All right, I'm working hard at something, but we can't just throw words around. All right, be precise in what you say, as I try to be as well. But the fact, like, everyone wants to be famous. Everyone is a public figure. I mean, it's so fucking stupid. Like, everyone is narcissistic, and I don't know. I just don't like it. But maybe I'm just complaining. You know, I'm part of it. I'm yelling into a mic, hoping people listen. No, as I've told you, I've been enjoying the podcast, and I should say I'm considering. So I've been doing them Wednesdays and Saturdays, and then I've been doing the bonus Patreon episode Sundays, and I'm potentially gonna just do shows Wednesdays and Saturdays, and have the Saturday shows on Patreon, because I feel like doing 3 shows, I feel like I can do 2 really well and have a great time. And I feel like I have a lot to talk about because there's a break as far as like throughout my week. So I have experiences to talk to you guys about, like the hunting and the Wi-Fi and so. But I feel like come Sunday, come the Patreon episode, I'm like, well, what do I talk about now? I just talked. I did a show last night. You know how I want to give the best show, especially for the people on Patreon. I want to give great shows every episode, of course. But you know, the people who are subscribing and supporting the show, I want to make sure they have a excellent show. I hope you all have an excellent show. So I'm potentially going to cut back to just 2 days a week and just do Wednesdays and maybe Saturdays, the Patreon episode. Just because, I just told you. Weren't you listening? Weren't you listening? In other news, again, regarding the Wi-Fi, I think I know I already mentioned this a bit, but like I've been able to watch some movies. And I never watch movies because we have DirecTV, like we're 90, and to watch a movie with commercials, you might as well be homeless. All right, you're a homeless person. if you have to sit through somebody trying to sell you mints, all right, you might as well be shooting heroin up on the street in Atlanta. All right. But it's been fun to actually like sit down and watch some movies. Watched Gemini Man. It was that Will Smith movie. I won't give anything away. It was pretty good. I didn't think it was excellent, but I did enjoy it. And then I watched Escape from New York, which was I thought it was all right. It was an 80s movie with Kurt Russell, good looking dude, especially in the 80s. He was like fit and pretty in shape, and a young spry fellow back in his prime. But it was good. It was all right though. Like I said, those 80s movies, I don't know, there's just so much shit that goes on now in movies. You know, they're just hyper reality and so much going on, and the cinematography and the graphics are so incredible now that it's, you go back to the 80s and you're like, yeah, these are all right. It's like these were good back then. This was considered the best movie. Really? This is a classic. Okay, all right. But I'm not a movie connoisseur. I'm not. I know a handful of movies. What's my favorite movie of all time? One of my favorites that comes to mind is Oh Brother, Where Out? Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? There we go. I was able to get that tongue twister out. George Clooney, a couple other great guys who I don't know. But that movie's so funny. I love that movie. That one, I never remember my favorite movies. Oh, I do love the Indiana Jones series. A lot of people didn't really care for the newer ones, like the Crystal Skull one with what's his face, Shia LaBeouf, the Holes boy. He's a talented guy. He's a cool guy as far as, he openly talked about his problems. Like he just went through what he described as an existential crisis, and now I think he runs like 12 miles a day, something like that, and that really centers him and keeps him grounded. I'm gonna run to the bathroom, folks. I'll be right back, and then we'll get into some reads. I'm back, folks. Did you miss me? One other thing I wanted to say about movies before we get to the reads. I can't stand watching movies with my parents. I've told my mom that she could be a famous YouTuber if she just had a video camera on her while a movie was playing. She says the most preposterous shit. It's like she's talking to the characters. I mean, every other line I'm going, I can't hear. And that's a pet peeve of mine. Like people talking in movies, I can't fucking stand it. I can't. It's like, if we're gonna watch a movie, let's watch it. All right. You don't say you're gonna read a book, and then when you open the pages, you just start. You start jerking off. All right. You're reading. You're not jerking off. All right. When I sit down to watch a movie, I sit down to watch it, and I don't jerk off then. I don't talk. It depends on what I'm watching, but as primarily, there's no jerking off, all right? Okay? But, yeah, I can't fucking stand it. And why is it called a pet peeve? I wanted to figure that out. Why is it called a pet peeve? Here we go. Peeve is derived from the much older word peevish, which means, querulous or easily irritated. Okay, peevish comes from late Middle English, with examples appearing as early as the 15th century. Wow. What year is it? 1400. Got a pet peeve. I hate when my woman only bathes once every 4 years. That's a pet peeve of mine. Imagine. Wasn't it like Queen Elizabeth who bathed once a year? One of the queens. I don't know. Isn't that saying we still have kings and queens? Are we living in ancient times? I mean, the president, is a leader. I don't know, he's not the king. Hello, can you imagine? King Trump, ladies and gentlemen, or dying King Biden. Really, it'd be Queen Kamala, however you say her name. Kaha, as Tim Dillon called her. Kamala Harris? Kamala? I truly don't know. I'm not paying attention that as much as I should be. Oh well. Before a pet peeve came along, people had pet hatred and pet aversion. Huh. What's your pet aversion? Oh my God, I hate when my parents talk in the movie theater. It's so annoying. What's your pet hatred? I just fucking hate everything. Okay. All right, let's get to some reads. Let me get a little water, folks. The noisiest water bottle coming at you from the noisiest podcast in the UP in Michigan. I wonder if there's any other podcasts going on here in the UP. It's just such a small area. I take that back. Steve Orchard in the area messaged me about how to set up a podcast as far as distribution, and I pointed him in the right direction. I think he's doing one now regarding music. My friend Kevin Chown in the area, he's gonna start one. He said he wants to, so I think he will. All right, let's get to some read, folks. I've been reaching out to you. Rather, you've been reaching out to me. And if you would like to reach out to the Trevor Ohlsen Show, please do send me your comments, your questions, your concerns, your nudes to the Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. I'll say it again, folks. The Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. All right, from a listener of the show, let's get into it. Trevor! I just fucking yelled this whole hour. I try to do this when my parents are gone because I'm like, did you hear me yelling? They're like, what are you yelling about? Like, why are you so angry? It's like, I'm not angry. I told my mom, I was like, yeah, I do a lot of yelling on the podcast. She's like, why? Why are you yelling? You shouldn't be yelling. I'm like, it's a fun podcast. It's fun. Okay, so Trevor, you mentioned with, let's see. Here we go. Too old to share much about sex, but of course my father, who was rather drunk at the time. Okay, I'm sorry. So I should take a step back. So I asked people to reach out the show, the Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com, to send in their top 5 awkward sex moments. Okay. And then I'm asking people's favorite positions as well. Like, I'm just asking for weird shit. And it's great when I get people who send them in. I love it. Because complete strangers are sending me just their intimate sex lives. And every one of them's like, please don't say my name after. At the end of every email, they're like, please don't say my name. And don't worry, folks. I will not reveal anyone's name. Okay. So this listener of the show, this woman reached out. Top 5 awkward sex moments. I'm not sure if she gave us 5, but let's see. Here we go. Okay. Too old to share much about sex. Yes, of course, my father, who was rather drunk at the time, walked in on me and the husband, ooh boy, made worse by being/looking quite pregnant. Nice! I've never had sex with a pregnant woman. I've often thought about it. Maybe not often, that's probably not the right word. But I'm curious. I know the sex is, I think it's the same. But there's just an infant in the middle of it, and I find that grotesque. No. Yeah, I mean, I'd have sex with a pregnant woman. Okay, bumping shit. Here we go. So your father, who's drunk, walks in on you banging your husband while you're pregnant. Good for you guys. Doing it, of course, with the lights on, so all was visible. As he swung the door open, he says, "How you doing?" To which we burst out laughing as he quickly slammed the door shut. No, we didn't finish. Embarrassed to say the least. Well, you could have at least finished, I mean, at least the man. I mean, someone could, his dead mother could walk in from the grave, and he'd be like, "Oh, 1 sec, Mom, I just gotta come." Okay. It's for men. It's like a fog. Like I say, like if for men, if you're like really, really horny, and it's probably the same for women, but I can only speak as being a man. It's like after you come, it's like the fog is lifted and you can think clearly. Up to that moment, though, nothing else matters. Okay, so you didn't finish. That is so funny. Yeah, I like the lights on at time as well. I'm good with both. It's definitely, especially as a man, I'm a visual guy. And so, yeah, it's great to see what's going on. I'm a big fan of that. Good for you guys. Okay. Have quite a few more that I could share, but I'll keep them to myself. Well, why'd you reach out to the show then? You know who you are. Reach back out and tell me more, okay? Share, be a good, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just love to hear more. Okay. Of course we got a little more. Of course, there was one time when the fella's shoulder dislocated and I had to yank it back in place for him. That's amazing. Going at it. My shoulder. Hold on, honey. Pull it back into place. That's hilarious. Guess the tied downs were being effective, eh? Wow. Okay. So am I correct in saying you tied your husband down, you were fucking him, and he tried to grab you like a psycho and he ripped his shoulder out of place? Like he get his latch down. And yes, kept on going. Good. X, there you go. She continues on. No favorite positions to share. And as far as what this old gal thinks about it, well, for me, it's over and done with. Okay, anyway. Well, thank you for reaching out to the show. That was very funny. Yeah, and here you go. And do not ever say my name regarding this stuff. Please, never, ever. Don't worry, there will be no names shared, so please reach out to the Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. And if you've been enjoying the show, head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen and subscribe for the bonus Patreon episodes coming out every Sunday. Supporters growing. We've got the first ever The Trevor Ohlsen Show Patreon challenge going on. We're getting a handful of listeners signing up to the subscription-based site, Patreon, supporting the show. I appreciate all of you supporting the show very much. And, pardon me. And, yeah, let's keep on going with the reads. So, here we go. Oh, I wanted to mention too. Okay, so I don't know what episode this was on. It was like, it was either Sunday or I don't know when it was. Last episode. Well, and if it was the bonus Patreon episode, I'll catch everyone up who didn't hear it. But basically, a listener of the show reached out, telling some sex stories, and she put a bed through the floor, and I said, "Wow." And I commented, I said, it must have been really angry sex. And then she replied back as she listened, and she said, no. Because I asked her, I was like, what position were you in? And here we go. And she replied back, and she said, I was doggy. I was doggy? There we go. So they're doing it doggy style. I was doggy, which was worse. Okay. And no, not angry sex, just going at it very hard, clearly. Yeah, you put a bed through the floor. Let's see. And then she said, and my favorite sex position I have too many. I like being spontaneous and depends on the mood and the significant other. I've done every possible position, as have I. Yeah, good for you. You know, it's good to mix it up position-wise. Keep it interesting, folks. Come on, fellas. She wants a little more than just missionary. Toss her up and squish her face in the pillow. You know, she'll like it. It's like my grandpa. Oh, she likes the attention. Yeah. So I think those are just a couple of the reads I got for you guys. I'd love to, like I said, do a whole little section of longer reads. So please reach out to the show, the Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. Let me make sure I don't have any other messages, because everyone's kind of reaching out all over the place. Quit messaging me on all these platforms, folks. Just send it to the show, all right? Am I supposed to dig? You think I have the time to just dig for your sex position life? I don't. Let's find it. Here we go. Messages. Can I find them? There we are. I'm going on Patreon. Seeing if there's anything here. Funny things to say. To tell you guys about. Okay, here we go. I'm reading. Negative, folks. But that's okay. So, yeah, again, please reach out to the show, the Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. And, folks, and of course, if you're interested in supporting the show, head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen and sign up for the weekly bonus Patreon episode coming out every Sunday. Folks, support the show already. All right? Enough is enough. All right, I can't even fuck in my own house. You remember that one? Did you listen back to episode number 1 where my dad's like, hey, no more banging in your bedroom below. Your mother and I can hear you. It's like, Dad, folks, all right? Support the show already, you cheap fuck, all right? You're selfish, all right? You think, yeah, you got to feed your kids. You know, fuck the kids, all right? I need the support, all right? Oh, but Trevor, I got to have food. No, all right? Food for me. Okay, Trevor, I'm trying to pursue my dream. Give it up. All right, my dream's supposed to come true, not yours. So please support the show at patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Thank you. How we doing time-wise, folks? Oh yeah, I can yap your ear off for another 15 minutes. Let me get a little hydration going on. I've been rather disconnected from reality as far as pertaining to the news. Let's see what's going on in the world. Live news updates. I know Trump's feeling great. He's so funny. Because he says he's obviously the greatest at everything, and I just cracked up when he said he was like yeah, I beat the virus and I'm immune now. I mean I know that's apparently supposedly the case, but with anyone, but just for him, he's just like I seem to be immune to the virus. It's like, yeah, we know you're the greatest president to ever live. I agree. Okay, here we go. Definitely the most entertaining president and the most polarizing. Live news updates. Let's see. I don't know what news source to go to. Here we go. Breaking news, latest news. All right. Early voters defy Trump's attempt to call. No, that's not funny. I'm trying to find something funny. Okay. I've never even been on a news site. There's a lot of words here. A lot of different topics. See the record-smashing T-Rex that sold for $31.8 million. You imagine that, just buying a T-Rex? That would be badass. You know, that's a status piece right there. When you've got 32 mil to just blow on a T-Rex. I think, if I'm not mistaken, almost all these fossils, we just have little sections of them, and then the rest are fake, technically speaking. I didn't know that until I was older. I always just thought they had the full bones. Now, they have a lot of full bones, don't get me wrong. And I'm not one of those psychos who doesn't believe in dinosaurs. You seen those guys? There's people who... There's this guy on YouTube who's got a YouTube channel. Maybe I can find him. Let's see. And I've only watched partial the video. I've only partially watched some of the video. Here we go. All right, dinosaurs are fake. The dinosaurs you love are fake. Let's see. Who was it? There's a whole. Oh God, that was super loud. Sorry. Yeah. If you guys are interested, there's a whole conspiracy that dinosaurs never existed. Which is quite funny. Wouldn't that be nuts if they just didn't? And space was fake too. And the earth was flat. Like all those fucking psychos were right. There has been, I think human beings are devolving. That's what it appears. I mean, as we have infinite ability with the amount of technology that we have to become so much more aware, so much smarter. And we just fuck it all up. But if you're interested in this dinosaur, this is a long video. It's 37 minutes. But Rogan had this guy on, Trevor Vale, Valle, and it says paleontologist Trevor Vale, I don't know, debunks dinosaurs never existed conspiracy. So there's a whole fucking, let's see, dinosaurs never existed conspiracy. All right, let's dive in a little, folks. Okay. Though the first dinosaurs appeared about 243 million years ago, they remain as prominent as ever today. Thanks to museums, books, and pop culture, dinosaurs remain larger than life. However, some cynics, that makes me think of a eunuch, some ballless eunuchs, no, however, are not so sure that dinosaurs ever existed. There is a group of people who doubt dinosaurs' existence despite the plethora of scientific evidence. How do these dino doubters... That's a nice little term. The dino doubters formulate their opinions. Let's find out. Pardon me. Okay. Listen, we know they're real. Just watch Jurassic World. They're all in there. Chris Pratt... he has raptors. Obviously, they're real. Why don't conspiracists think dinosaurs are real? Here we go. Now that we know there was this significant number of people who believe dinosaurs never existed, what motivates their thinking? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Give me an answer. A good bulk of the conversation is religiously motivated. Okay, many people cite Christianity as a reason they don't think dinosaurs existed, as well as for doubting evolution. Okay, so it can get into the religious means. That's understandable because, people, when people are raised religiously and it's their worldview and it's how they perceive life, it's very, very, very difficult to change that worldview. Like if someone's worldview is you're a piece of shit and you're useless and worthless and, life is meaningless, and they're taught about that, like they're taught that rather, throughout their whole life, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for them as an adult to think otherwise, because that's how they were raised. And just like anything, I mean, if you're Buddhist or Christian or Muslim or whatever you are, you're locked into your worldview, and you can, I don't know, like dogma, that's not good. Dogmatic views and rigid ideologies. I like to say I'm an open-minded thinker. I'm trying to fucking think, use my little monkey brain. But I truly don't know where, I don't know, you guys. I was raised a Christian. I would say I'm a Christian. I know I got a filthy mouth for a Christian, but as far as like evolution, like there's so much, I mean, you hear about evolution, it's taught through years and years, and it's very evidence-based and everything like that. And then there's the whole Adam and Eve narrative, and then the question comes into play, okay, is this literal or is it metaphor? Is it metaphor? What is it? So truly, I don't know what I believe in some sense. Like if evolution is real, for me, I'm gonna lean towards theistic evolution. Meaning that God evolution is God's way of bringing about existence. Let's say, a lot of people are atheistic evolution. They believe in atheistic evolution rather, and but I mean, these are deep, long conversations to have, and I'm getting towards the end of the podcast, but I mean, just myself, like for me, atheistic evolution, and maybe I'm biased because I've been raised to believe in God, and that could very well be the case, but the idea that nothing created everything, and I've looked with my little monkey brain, I've looked back, I've done my research on the Big Bang Theory, and it's such a new idea. I think it was first introduced a little bit in the 1920s, and then it came to a bit more prominence in the 1960s. I mean, it's a brand new idea, but to be fair, we just started thinking scientifically in the last roughly 500 years, so I guess that makes sense. But just this idea that nothing created everything. And we can't even wrap our minds around what nothing is, because it's nothing. The space in front of you, where it's if you're in a big open vast space right now, wherever you are, like it's not nothing. It's time, it's space, it's particles, it's atoms, it's molecules, it's all these different things that on a microscopic level that we can't see. It's all these different things, all these elements, all these gases going on. Scientist Trevor here. So just to say that nothing created everything, I mean, if you really read in on the Big Bang Theory, it's just as hard to believe as an atheist might find it's just as hard to believe in God. It's like the same thing. It's like, well, I believe in God and he created the universe. He. Let's be honest. All right. It's a guy. But it's just as, it's the same thing. I believe God created the universe. Okay, well, I believe nothing created the universe. So it's like, I don't know. These are deep questions. I highly recommend you ask yourself these questions very seriously. And I think it's very, very important to go in depth and not just go with whatever you were taught. Think about it. And whatever your conclusion comes to, great. I mean, we all know that deep down, life is about love and family and kindness and generosity and love and positivity. But we also know life is very difficult. So I don't know. These are just such deep questions, and unfortunately, I just can't articulate them well. I have not formulated my thoughts in a very eloquent way, especially off the cuff here on the podcast. I'd have to. It definitely helps to write things down. Yeah. If you want to get your thoughts in order, type them out, write them down on paper, and that's really, really an excellent form of thinking. It's probably the best way, honestly. But yeah, I just can't. Clearly, I can't articulate it because I sound lost for words. But these are huge questions. I mean, these are the biggest questions of all. Why are we here? Where did we come from? Is this? I mean, it's to the point where it's like there's simulation theories, and again, there's a fucking increase in irrational thinking when people think the Earth is flat again. And sorry to all you flat Earth thinkers out there. It's like people think the Earth is flat. People think space is fake. Everyone's nihilistic. What's going on? All right, life is a miracle. Everything about it is a miracle. All right, we're just the perfect distance from a fireball keeping the planet going, and we, for some reason, perfectly rotate around it. Always. Everything, there's a continuity to everything. Everything continues. You know that when you go to sleep, unless you die, you're going to wake up and the sun's going to be there. Even if it's raining, though. There's no sun. It's behind the clouds, okay? It's like everything is perfect. And life itself is so preposterous. It doesn't even feel real to me sometimes. It's so insane. Especially when you're looking up at space or you're looking at an amazing view, like the ocean. You feel like, what the fuck? Like it's so overwhelming to think that we are these creatures, these animals living on this planet, this big, beautiful, amazing, life-giving planet in the middle of space, in space. And we have no idea if there's any other life out there. Like, it's so crazy. And to think, and I mean, and as far as space exploration, space is so intensely vast. It's unfathomably vast that it's like until we figure out a different form of travel, we're not going anywhere. Elon, I know you want us to be on Mars, but can we get there at decent time? I'm running out of peanuts, Elon. All right, my water's out. How long is it supposed to take to get to Mars? Let's find out. How long to get to Mars? 21 months. Listen, I think Earth is great. I'm a fan of people. I'm a fan of the Earth. I think we take care of the Earth. I think the Earth clearly provides us with every single thing. Every single thing you're looking at came from the Earth right now. This microphone, how the fuck they made it, I don't know, but it came from the Earth. Some sort of element. But let's be real. Elon, if you can cut it down 21 months, maybe to 21 hours, like that'd be good. So you're going to really have to figure out the speed. Now, if there's anyone who could do it, I think it would be Elon. And I dig the idea of being a multi-planet species. If we took over Mars and inhabited it. But, Earth is pretty fucking awesome. And it's a shame that people think, people are nihilistic and life is meaningless and all this shit. Because I understand that perspective, and I've had friends who have literally killed themselves because they have that perspective, and I get it because life is fucking hard, all right, and there's no one who is not going to experience struggle, all right? Everyone in your life is at some point going to get sick. Everyone you know is eventually going to die. And eventually I'm going to die, and everyone's going to die, all right? But while we're here, folks, live your life. Live it. love it. Love other people. Do positive, good things for people. Struggle through adversity and come out stronger. Build perseverance. And you know what? This is a good way to end it. Where are we at? Perfect way to end it. Here we go. I'm reading you guys a quote that I read today. Here we go. Let me just pull it up here. Where are you? Here we go. Here we go. All right. You don't have to believe in God to listen to this. So if you're offended, fuck off. Okay. As a good Christian would say. Okay. We boast in the hope of the glory of God. Okay. Not only so, but we also glory. This is important. We glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us, folks. Persevere, love each other. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope you've had as much fun as I've had. Please reach out to the show. Shoot me your top 5 awkward sex positions. Just keep coming back to that. The Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. And again, if you'd like to hear the weekly bonus Patreon episodes exclusive to the lovely, fantastic Patreon supporters out there keeping me going, head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen or just type my name into patreon.com. You will find me. Or head over to trevorolsen.com. You guys know how to do this. Like I said, folks, enough is enough. All right. Support the show, you cheap fuck. All right. I'm trying to make a living here. All right. I'm giving you some free chuckles, and it's this idea of reciprocity. All right. You owe me. All right. Life owes me. All right. I'm owed everything. That's about the worst attitude to have in life. Well, life owes, I'm owed this. It's like life doesn't owe you or me or anyone shit. All right? And we'll end it on that, folks. I love you guys. In all seriousness, keep going. Keep persevering. It's going to build character. It's going to build strength. You're stronger than you think you are. And you're smarter than you think you are. Hopefully, unless you're pretty stupid. What day is it? Wednesday? I've had a blast. I hope you guys have as well. Folks, good way to end it. All right, folks, we'll see you Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you Saturday.